Oh man, hallelujah, praise Jesus. Do we have a good video today? This is actually a really interesting video because it's a combination of things. First, we are going to talk about 3 different religious dudes. One's a preacher, I think one's another preacher, and one is a priest. Sounds like the beginning of a bad joke. And the topic of conversation of what these 3 dudes are talking about is gender. Yay! How many are there? Which one is God? All the important questions that we just need to talk about in association with Jesus. But like I said, this video is a combination of things. I'm also going to be talking about my own opinions on the matter as they have actually changed, and I've been meaning to talk about this for quite some time because about a year ago, I had a conversation with a couple of really amazing people that were really willing to talk to me and explain their perspective, which changed my mind. I know, it's crazy, it can happen. And over the last pretty much year since that conversation happened, I have changed my opinion quite a bit. I've done more research into it and have kind of looked inward and decided that I truly just do not believe what I used to believe in terms of gender. I used to say there are only 2. It's like hard for me to even talk about that because I look back on those videos and like I cringe at them, but that's honestly typical of how I feel looking back at any of my old videos. But since this video is on that topic, it does give me the opportunity to bring you some pretty comical stuff. Like, this is going to make you laugh, I promise. But if you are somebody that was affected by my previous statements, please know that I no longer stand by them. I have thrown them out in the garbage where they belong, and I am bringing new content to you that focuses on this topic with, hopefully, like I said, a comical twist. So we're gonna start by going over this here video. Should Christians use transgender pronouns? Just the title of that alone is just, you know, you're already probably cringing. All right, everybody place your bets in the comments section right now. Do you think the answer's gonna be yes or no? Just throw your guess out there.
So say a Christian says, I acknowledge the creational reality that God created us male and female.
Right.
I acknowledge that that's good. But I want to, out of love for my neighbor, use the pronouns that they prefer.
Did everybody leave your comment? Did you leave your guess? Good, because I bet you might be onto something. So grab your wine. This is going to be one hell of a video. Sorry, I'm so sorry. But before we get too far into it, since this is a very holy video, I would like to talk about all of our, oh God, I should probably redo that. This video is sponsored by Adam and Eve. If you go to adamandeve.com and use my name, Jaclyn, J-A-C-L-Y-N, as a code at checkout, you can get 50% off any one item and free shipping, which is an amazing deal. And if you check out my second YouTube channel, which I hope you're subscribed. If you're not subscribed, you better be subscribed. But if you go to youtube.com/JaclynVlogs, you will see an unboxing video that I did from Adam and Eve where I opened a whole box of good stuff. I still have it right here, I'm looking at it. There's a lot of really good stuff in there and it's a funny video. So make sure to check it out, link in the description, and also go to adamandeve.com and use my code. Do it, I promise you won't regret it, and you also won't go to hell.
And so I have a friend that is was born a male, is now identifying as a female. Out of love for them, should I use the feminine pronoun for them?
All right, drum roll please. Do you think that he said yes or no? Let's find out.
That's like saying, I believe that God made sugar and that sugar is good. And yet out of love for my neighbor, I want to let him put cyanide in his coffee if he calls it sugar.
What? Yes, I know, I'm sorry. I know that you told me the pronouns you want to use, but if I did that, it would basically be like me handing you poison that would kill you, and I don't want to kill you. So I'm gonna go ahead and just disrespect that, you know, for your safety.
It's a very striking analogy.
Wow, that's the greatest thing I've ever heard.
You don't, out of love for your neighbor, refuse to tell him at 2 a.m. that his house is on fire.
Yes, again, respecting your pronouns is basically a death sentence for you, so I'm actually doing you a favor.
If you want to say, I love him and therefore I will tell him lies, what you're actually saying is I love myself, and if I tell him the truth, I'm going to be in trouble.
That it's like a sub-biblical love. It's something other than love, because love rejoices in the truth.
So now he's trying to say that if you, this is so confusing. If you do try to respect someone's pronouns, the only reason why you would be doing it isn't for their benefit, but for your own, because they would yell at you and you might get in trouble if you don't do what they want. We don't really care about their feelings in any of this, just to be clear.
Oftentimes, a father who doesn't discipline his son is being sentimental or too emotional about it. he would call what he's doing love. But the Bible says it translates into hate.
You may think that I hate you. Let's say that you are a transgender woman and I just refuse to call you by your pronouns and I say he this and he that. It's because I love you. You see, if I actually said she as I should, that would be, unfortunately, me just really hating your guts. Yeah, see, whenever you're nice and respectful, that's hate. That is hate and hellfire right there.
And who's demanding that you use the pronouns that they have assigned to themselves. If you go along with that, that's the last thing you are, is loving.
Illinois Family Institute. All right, well, speaking of this area of the world, I'm actually moving there in a few weeks. So if I'm a little MIA on the internet, as I already kind of have been, I'm packing, the house is full of boxes. Moving is really difficult, especially whenever you're moving from Los Angeles all the way over to Nashville. That's right, I'm gonna be in the Bible Belt. Y'all better watch out, because here I come. Damnation follows me. Oh, and look at that, his comments are turned off. How about that shit? Don't want to hear what we have to say? I'm gonna try to go back and translate a little bit of what this guy is saying, because it's easy to sit there and make fun of it and laugh at how ridiculous all of it is, because it is ridiculous. I understand where he's coming from, because I was raised very religious. I'm not saying he's right, I'm just saying I understand the brainwashing that goes behind that point of view, which is something that I've seen often with Girl Defined videos or Paul and Morgan or really anyone. It's that they truly believe in this concept of hell, which is terrifying, and they think that if you lead people down a path of sin, you are essentially threatening their life in some kind of way because you're signing them up for eternal damnation and hellfire, burning pain, agony forever, which, gosh, I can't imagine that actually playing out in someone's brain who truly believes it. Actually, I can. I did it. But just try to put that into perspective for a while. Like, I had that amount of brainwashing. It really does affect you. It really does mess with you, and it puts this, like, burning sense of urgency in the pit of who you are that makes you just feel the need to evangelize because you think your mother, sister, brother, friend, whoever is going to go to hell. So if someone you care about is gay, for example, and you truly think that that's going to send them to hell, you're probably not going to support their lifestyle because you don't want to support their slippery slope down into hellfire. And that's not saying any of it's right. I'm just trying to explain that this is how this man kind of came to this conclusion. This is how he set it up as like a life or death type of situation. Your house is on fire, what do I do? That's where he gets that. It's such a toxic mentality that people are brought up with. And I know that not every religious person is like this, but this is kind of a theme in religion. It's in the Bible, you know, so it's hard to deviate from it too much. I know people do, and that's fine. I mean, I would rather there be Christians that don't think this way, but at the end of the day, this is kind of why I don't really advocate for religion at all, because it is a little unavoidable to find yourself in this thought process where you can't support people for who they are because you truly believe in some supernatural entity that will harm them if they don't do what you think they're supposed to do. It's really messed up, and like I said, I'm moving to the Bible Belt, so I won't be far from this guy, but I'll be even closer to another guy that we're going to get into later. But first, we're going to talk about this priest. We're going to go back to my origins. You guys know I was brought up Catholic, so let's hear what Father has to say in this video. Bruce Jenner and the transgender question. This guy looks cool.
Hi, my name is Father Mike Schmitz, and this is Ascension Presents. So I was over Memorial Day weekend hanging out with my family, and one of my nephews, he pretended he was a dog. And you know, have you ever did that with a little kid when they're like, I'm a puppy, and you're like, okay, you have the ball, and you throw the ball.
A kid pretending to be a puppy. I wonder where he could possibly go with this.
At one point, it was time for supper, and so I was like, okay, buddy, you know, time to get up, wash your hands, get ready for supper. He's like, no, I'm a puppy. And his parents are like, listen, you're a little boy, you're not a dog, wash your hands and sit at the table. And I thought, all right, that's good. That's good parenting right there.
You're a little boy, you're not a dog, even though you're pretending to be a dog. I really wonder where this analogy could possibly go.
Where, you know, here's the kid, he really thinks he's a dog, but the reality is you're not a dog. And I was thinking about this and thinking about that love that my nephew's parents have for him when it comes to this big thing in the news, of course, which is Bruce Jenner.
Wow, okay, so we're talking about transitioning, so I'm just gonna say that was the worst transition I've ever seen. What? That love that my nephew's parents had for him. So Bruce Jenner, what? Also, I was a child too that would pretend things. I used to swim around in the pool pretending I was a mermaid. Did I ever actually think and identify as a mermaid? No, I did not, because I was a child and I was playing. To compare that to, how could you make such a stupid juvenile comparison? If your understanding of the situation is really that small, truly, you should not be talking about it. And you know what I find amazing, and this is gonna piss off people who are religious, but I just can't help it. I cannot help but point this out. You're gonna talk about people pretending. Oh my gosh, you think this is true, but it's not. You need to be smarter. Dude, you believe in a magic man in the sky. So let's be real, who's pretending? You're the grown-up that still believes in fairy tales, so let's not be judgmental,
Or anyone else who experiences the sense of being transgendered, the idea that Bruce Jenner's case, I have a man's body, but I'm not really a man. I've always felt like a woman.
And then here comes my favorite part. It's like, you say these really judgmental things, and then they try to rationalize it. Like, I'm not judgmental. And this guy has a really interesting take on that. I love it.
People will say, are you very judgmental? Here's what I'm saying. That I have no judgment on this thing. I just have an assessment.
Isn't that great? Oh my God, I'm gonna start using that. Listen, I'm not judging you, I'm just making an assessment, okay?
I'm not saying that Bruce Jenner is evil. I just think that perception of him saying I'm actually a woman, I just think that assessment or that perception is off. I think it's inaccurate.
Okay, Father, I'm not saying that you're evil, but I think that your perception and assessment that you're some kind of holy man is just a little off. I think it's inaccurate that you believe in a God. I just think that, you're not evil, but maybe you're just making an incorrect assessment. And to be clear, I'm not judging you. I'm not judging you for being religious. I'm just making an assessment.
Here's what I mean. Just even ask the question. Okay, those of you who are men who are watching this, those of you who are women who are watching this, women, what does it feel like to be a woman? Guys, what does it feel like to be a man?
I love this part. This is my favorite part. I see it in so many videos like this where they make an analogy or they try to say something that they just think is so brilliant. Like, this is going to show them. This is basically the most genius thing I've ever said in my life. Here you go. You ready for it? I'm gonna serve up some freaking knowledge.
Flip it around and say, men, do you have any idea what it feels like to be a woman? And women, do you have any idea what it feels like to be a man? No, the reality is, of course, we don't. We have no idea what it feels like to be a member of the opposite sex.
Wow, my mind is blown. Well, let me ask you a question next. Do you have any idea what it feels like to be trans? Oh, you don't? Wow, that's crazy, because to me, it kind of seemed like you were trying to say people couldn't be trans because they don't know what it's like to be the opposite gender. So I would like to say that to you, Father. Maybe you don't know what it's like to be trans, so how could you even ask this question? And it's just so frustrating because you can see in his smug little face that he thinks he just said something brilliant. And now he's going to talk about his sister, who is a tomboy, and how this actually will explain everything. If you were confused before, now you'll get it.
They called her a tomboy. Why? Because she loved hunting, she loved fishing, she was incredible at sports. The field, she's in medicine right now, she's a doctor. The field that she's in right now is a field traditionally dominated by men.
Oh wow, because gender roles is the same thing as gender. Okay, I got it.
Her husband is a stay-at-home dad. Now, she is hard charging, she does a lot of, she's really smart, she takes the bull by the horns, all these kinds of things that are masculine traits. Now,
she's really smart, ladies. Listen to this, okay? If you're smart, wow, that's just so interesting that you're smart, because that's typically a man thing.
Wait, is she a man? No. Why? Because she's a woman. She's the mom of her kids. My brother-in-law, he's patient, he's kind, he's gentle with his kids, stay-at-home dad. Traditionally, things associated with women.
Again, gender roles apparently equal gender, and it's kind of emasculating to say that men who are caring are displaying feminine characteristics. I think that's kind of bullshit. I think everyone should be able to be a parent and caring and nurturing. That's kind of ridiculous. Smart, motivated, career-driven women, oh my gosh, that's such a man thing. And guys who stay at home and take care of the kids or are nurturing, loving people in general, like, wow, that's such a feminine thing. How crazy. But you're not trans? What?
How do we know he's not a woman? Well, because he looks at his body. His body reveals that he's actually a man.
I wonder if this guy ever encountered an intersex person, if his brain would just implode. But hey, at least you left the comment section open and people say this is a religion of hate. I wonder if that's sarcasm or if they really mean that. I don't really know. But yeah, definitely more likes than dislikes, which is a very interesting Ascension Presents. Let me just go ahead and dislike that. Okay, that's much better. Moving on to someone who is going to be near and dear to my home. Actually, this guy's church ain't far from where I live, so who knows, maybe one day I'll pop in. No, God is not transgender or gender neutral. Hashtag please share this from Pastor Greg Locke. You know what's so funny? When I realized this guy lived near where I'm moving, I remembered him and I was like, oh my God, I know this guy. I've made TikToks making fun of him before.
Fact. There's no such thing as a true atheist. You really do believe in God. You're just too stubborn and rebellious to admit it.
Now, this is all I'm going to say about the coronavirus, because I have some pretty strong opinions as to what I believe about its validity. However, the Bible says...
So yeah, that's Pastor Greg Locke, my new neighbor. I just can't wait. It's going to be so fun.
Hey guys, Pastor Greg Locke here. So the whole transgender, gender-neutral situation, so people don't get offended, has crept its way heavily into the church, both here in America and over in Europe.
The invasion of trans and non-binary people are just taking over our churches.
People are like, let's not call God he or him. Let's say she, or let's say it. First of all, God's not an it. He's an actual physical personality. Secondarily, God is not a woman.
God ain't no fucking woman, you hear me? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the majority of people who are trans or non-binary just want their own life to be respected and their own pronouns to be listened to. I don't really think many people give that many shits about whatever God is labeled. The non-binary and trans community are coming together to relabel God and Jesus, and we just simply cannot have it. Maybe a few people do, but that's not like an overwhelming sentiment I've ever heard.
There is not one shred of evidence anywhere in the context of the Bible that would ever make you think that God is a woman.
Man, he is just pissed off, but these comments are pretty good. Someone had to point out the Ariana Grande song, God is a woman, like there we go. Maybe that's what has him all pissed off. Maybe it's her. He, as in God the Father, also created Adam in his own image. I guess I'm assuming Adam was a man. Wait, he was. Yeah, I cannot with these comments.
People are like, well, you ought to give room for the fact that some people just believe that God is perhaps a woman or he's gender neutral. Well, you ought to leave room for the fact that I think you're an idiot to believe such nonsense.
Oh no, Greg Locke might think someone else is an idiot. Heaven forbid an idiot thinks someone else is an idiot. And I'm not even talking about his belief in religion, right? This guy is the troll of all trolls, and maybe he truly believes this, which means he's technically not a troll, but it certainly feels like he's trolling sometimes. This is from February 12th, guys. You know, the election was a while ago at this point, and he still says, Trump won. Biden is a fake president. Right. Okay, well, my lovely husband has been trolling him back, and this happened. If you still actually believe Biden won, I sincerely feel sorry for you. If you actually believe Santa is the son of God, I don't know, it doesn't make sense, but I think that's the point. My husband trolling Christians, it makes me so happy.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you something. Jesus knows what bathroom to use at Target, thank you very much.
Oh, okay, good. Well, we're all saved then, because I literally have been losing so much sleep at night wondering if Jesus were at Target, where he would go pee. Like, I think about it a lot.
Okay, just in case your little snowflake feelings haven't been offended enough, let me remind you, Jesus is a man.
I love it how people like this, especially this guy, I've seen him do it before. He talks about how people who are offended or whatever are little snowflakes, but I cannot look past how obviously triggered he is in this whole thing. Like, he heard somebody somewhere one day say, I don't know that God is a man. Maybe God is a woman, or God is just an entity, or whatever. God is in the trees. I don't know. Somebody said something like that to him, and he just got so offended. He lost his shit that he had to make this rant video say, God ain't no woman. Jesus ain't no woman. I tell you what, God is a man. He's got a dick. And then he's like, everyone else is a snowflake. Everyone else is offended. I have never seen someone more offended than you, man.
So to all of you gender-neutral hippies that are afraid to offend people by using demonstrative pronouns, I'm here to tell you, I'm going to stand with the God of the Bible, not with your unbiblical nonsense.
And I'm going to have to cut you off right there. I cannot take any more of your nonsense, actually. But anyway, I thought this was pretty funny. I was amazed at how easy it was to find all this stuff. I actually stumbled upon this entire thing by watching Greg Locke videos, because I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna live next to this guy. And I wanted to see what else was out there. And it was like, so easy to find. Everybody's talking about this, and they're not really saying great things. But that's okay, it makes for comedy, right? It's a little sad though. For a long time now, since I've lived in California and LA for almost 8 years, I've become a little bit accustomed to people being open-minded and pretty left-leaning, at least in social issues. I really don't distinguish with politics very much in friends. I don't care, you guys know that. But it will be difficult, I think, for me to be in an area around people who are not accepting of people who might be different than them in some kind of way. And that's gonna be a real struggle. So I hope I'm gonna be okay with it. Fingers crossed, I'll be okay with it. I'm sure it'll be fine, I think. But I'm not gonna lie, it is something that is on my mind and I'm a little bit worried about, so wish me luck. Who knows, maybe some Greg Locke is in my future if I'm just so lucky. If I'm just so blessed. Anyway, with that, I'm gonna go. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like this video if you liked it. It really helps a lot in the algorithm when you give the video a like and leave a comment. Also, subscribe to me if you have not. Click the little bell. YouTube likes to demonetize basically everything I post, at least for the first several days. And when they do that, my videos don't typically get sent out to everyone unless there's a lot of engagement. So I appreciate the likes. I appreciate those of you who are subscribing and clicking the bell so you make sure you don't miss a video. Thank you to everybody who is supporting me on Patreon. I cannot wait to see y'all in the next video. Like I said, make sure to subscribe to my second YouTube channel, youtube.com/JaclynVlogs, because I'm gonna be doing a lot over on that channel. Moving videos, I'm gonna post my honeymoon videos, and lots of big life changes coming up in the future. So grab your drink, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. All right, cheers.